Hey guys, Sonny from the future. I feel like a dutz because when I was recording the video, I actually never talked about what I use in my offense defense slots. I use Radiance in both, and then for my utility, I use Dark. For the armor enchantment, I personally like the Elven just because it helps with my stamina regen and get into the mobs first is key for DPS. And for my weapon enchantment, I have the Lightning. Vorpal is a nice one, and also, Bioforn is okay. But truthfully, if you want to be king in Lomm, Lightning is the way to go just because there's so many mobs. It is just an absolute killer in there, guys. But hopefully you enjoy the rest of the video. Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is your boy Sonny here coming at you guys with another Neverwinter video. Now, before we jump into this, I want to make this clear that this build for the Barbarian is strictly dedicated to Lomm. Nothing else. I have a mod 18 build up on the channel already, but this is going to be kind of a subdivision of that, specifically builds dedicated to doing the most damage in said dungeon. So we're going to do Lomm, Tom, IC, T9, I mean whatever dungeons that I feel people should be running. We're going to be making builds, CODG, all that good stuff. So if you're new around here and you don't want to miss out, hit that subscribe with the notification bell, and you already know if you're part of the Sonny Army. Salute to every one of you out there, right? But enough chit chat. Let's just jump straight into this shit, guys. Now, I want to make this clear. Like I said, this is going to be spec'd individually for dungeons. So a lot of this stuff is going to be situational. I know not everybody's going to be able to have it, but if you want to do max amount of DPS in that dungeon, you're going to want these pieces. So moving on, we're going to be starting with the headpiece. You want the Undermountain Hunter, my apologies, bonus for the 5% damage in Undermount. So when you're running Lomm, this should be the headpiece you should be using. 5% extra damage trumps even the 5,000 power, okay? Damage is always better than power, in my opinion, and so far. Now it also depends, because sometimes power will be better than damage, but a lot of the times damage percentages will be better. For the chest, we still got the Ebonize. For the arms, now this one is going to be a little bit more situational, just because I know not everybody is going to have the Lion Guard Van Braces. These are from IC. But if you don't, the Spiked Defender Van Braces is an excellent, second choice. The only situation I have with these is you have to get hit, okay? And sometimes I don't always be getting hit. Your boy Sonny, I be dodging and weaving sometimes, I try not to get hit because I don't like taking damage, So that's the only problem I have with these arms is you got to take a hit. And you cannot, it doesn't, just because you get hit right here, stacks cannot be applied at the same time. So you have to get hit 5 times. Now, yes, 5 times is easy to, you may think be easy to get hit, but sometimes you don't even realize that you're not maybe even getting hit, right? So that's why I just go with these 5,000 power, and they do stack up to 20 times. But here's the thing. These stack up quick as hell in the Barbarian, and they will follow you from mob to mob. So it's a win-win situation here. For my main hand and offhand, I have the Lionheart. If you don't have the Lionheart, Burnished, Alabaster, and the Watcher. In terms of your feat, the Rusted Iron Leggings for that 5% extra damage. The minus 25% incoming healing in Lomm means nothing. As long as the healer knows what he's doing, you'll be fine, believe me. For the trousers, we just got the new ones, the Inferno Forge, just because they give you the most power out of them. Moving on to the shirt, we still use the Ebony Stain just for the 3% extra damage when your stamina is over 75%. For the waist neck set, we got the, what's the name of this? Because I don't even know what the name of this set is specifically. Call of Evil set, right? You deal additional 2.5% increase damage and additional 2.5 versus demons, devils, and fiends. Now, there is a couple probably demons, devils, and fiends in Lomm, just mob to mob, but the bosses obviously aren't. But still 2.5% damage, and this set, is updated to the mod 18 standard, so that is also why I use it over the demo set, and it still does incredible damage in there. Moving on to the 2 rings, okay? You want the Swordsman perk on both of these because they do stack, guys. Right here, you can see. Okay, so ideally, you don't necessarily have to have 2 striking rings. These are from Tom. These are a little on the expensive side. You can get the 3% melee rings from Mies, though, as well. And the only difference is they give you accuracy and armor pen. Those are an excellent, that's an excellent choice. It does the same melee perk That is the thing you want, because you can run the Hells of Fury here, but then you're losing the 5% off the feat. So you're with this build, like I said, guys, we try to maximize the damage here. So moving on to the artifact set, the best one in the game right now is the book set, just for the 3-piece. Still, you can get that additional hit, a weapon damage on a critical hit. No big deal there. Moving on to the stats, you know, strength and dex all the way. That's how I go. Dex for critical severity, movement speed, and then the strength obviously for the physical damage boost. Checking out the stats, as you can see, armor pen capped, defense is capped, critical strike way over capped, but it's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. Accuracy capped, and combat advantage is capped. Now, it's only at 118, but that is all you need for Lomm. That's why this build only works for Lomm. Okay? Now, you probably could get around it, and if you want to play around and everything, but I didn't want to do that for one video. I wanted to make these, you know, dedicated to one dungeon to keep it as simple as possible. Right? Moving on to the powers, no brainer here with the feats. All the top row, class features, barb strikes, and steel blitz. I'm not going to get into a big debate over trample. If you want to use trample, use trample. If you want to use steel blitz, use steel blitz. The only thing that shouldn't be swapped is barb strike, because it gives you 25% increase of your critical severity strikes. So that's a no-brainer right there. For your dailies, there really should be only 2 you're using. Savage Advance for the bosses, and Avalanche of Steel on mobs. Moving on to encounters, Not So Fast, Bloodletter, and Punishing Charge, followed up by At Wills, which is Relentless Slash, which is going to be used about 100% of the time, you know, maybe 99. Occasionally, I just throw in a Sure Strike just for fun. This is more or less just to build up determination outside of the boss and everything like that. For your boons, this is going to be situational, depending. But if you're most likely following this build, you're probably just going to be taking the power ones. The HP is a big one. The movement speed, companion influence, critical severity. Those are probably the big ones you definitely want to take. And then Deadly Rage for the master boon. For the guild stronghold, not everybody has it, but I use the critical severity, the defense, and then I just use the utility. It doesn't really matter. Whatever you have available at that time. Moving on to the companions. Everything companion-wise is strictly based around power. Now, you can use the Raptor's instincts, but the only problem is everybody in the group has to have it. But it does give you 10k power instead of the 8k, which is always better, more power. But the other ones, you know, I have the Ion Stone, the Minstrel, and then the Allure. For the utility power, now this is going to be up in the air as well. I know not everybody's going to have the Alpha Company. If you don't have the Alpha Company, I would say second fiddle to that is an Owlbear. And then if you don't have an Owlbear, whatever utility slots have power or even critical severity wouldn't be a bad choice. But definitely, if you can afford the Alpha Company, best one. For the companions itself, you know, whatever one that's going to sit here and give you a power bonus right here. I just use the quest just because I like it. Number one, because it looks pretty cool and I'm tired of using the bullet. But it also gives power, accuracy, and defense. Moving on to equipment. You know, bindings are going to be whatever ones you want. But ideally, I always say companions should be first. Over your character sheet, companions first. Okay? Don't at me. Companions give you way more stats than your character sheet. Believe me. For your enchantment, Potent Precision, 5% chance to critical severity for 15 seconds. For companion gear, this is also going to be RNG based because not everybody's going to have the ones I have. But if you're lucky enough, I use the Ivany Groin. I use the Silver Talisman, and I also use the Ivy. So 2 Ivies, but one of these gives Armor Pen Comm. This one gives Crit Comm, and this gives Accuracy and Comm. Moving on to mounts. Now, mounts again are going to be a little situational. If you have it, it's going to be best in slot. Tensor's Disc for combat power. Equip power is still 10k. It's still the best there. In terms of insignia bonuses, I have 4 Gladiator's Guiles for the movement speed, and then 1 Artifactor's Persuasion for the 2% reduction when I use my artifact, which is a little nice. For the insignias themselves, Dominance and Brutalities are probably going to be your best bet. They do get expensive, so just be warned. And that's about it. Moving on to single target. There really isn't much changed here other than the fact of the Boons spectrum. We took Bloodlust instead of Deadly Rage. And same thing with the mounts. I use a swarm instead of a disc. If you only have a disc, you use the disc. But just because the swarm is best in slot for bosses, that is the only reason why I use the swarm. Well, other than that, guys, I think I covered everything. If there is something I missed, let me know down in the comments below. Or if you guys missed anything, you know. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully it helps. It has been your boy Sonny here, guys. And as always, I will check you guys out in the next one.